What's up, YouTube? How are you doing? Tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you live in the world. Welcome to the live stream where we're going to cover some Elliott Waves, some new things, and some already like things that I already mentioned earlier, but in a new jacket, as we say in the Netherlands, like some new stuff. Just quickly checking something of the stream. Everything should be up and running nicely. So yeah, welcome. How are you doing? How are you doing? Lucas first, walking again. I can imagine, Lucas, like on a daily basis, you are walking a long distance. So Lucas, everyone, has a treadmill underneath his desk. So while he is chatting, maybe here as well, he's usually walking at the same time. Very, very fit. Ersin Yilmaz, how you doing? Welcome as well. Yannick Ganger, how you doing? Welcome. Good to have you guys here. And yeah, in this stream, what we're going to do is, of course, cover Elliott Waves and some of the expectations and things I'll be looking out for. And someone in the YouTube comments actually asked me to cover a topic which is Laurie Jurken. And Laurie asked me to talk about market psychology, which is an interesting topic, as sometimes in videos you will see me talk about a psychology setup, or, you know, like I talk about market psychology, I suppose, and usually countering it, as that is most interesting. But we can cover that for a little bit as well. I'm not sure if Laurie is going to be here today. Maybe Laurie is, maybe Laurie isn't, but at least we can cover something. So Davey, how you doing? Good afternoon or good night. Funny thing, I also wrote the opposite of sell, but you can't see it. Buy. Ah, okay. Where you're testing the YouTube protection things against scammers. Yeah, okay. Might have to keep an eye on the word sell then. But usually scammers are not really saying like, oh, you gotta sell this stuff, right? They always like trying to force you into buying random shit coins and that sort of things, right? Okay, let's get into the content, right? We're gonna start locally and slowly zoom out till we have this range in front of us. The previous video, we of course spoke about what actually happened on the chart. A move to the downside, still looking for a bounce generally as the highest probability scenario. You can't say the opposite of sell. No, yeah, well, yeah. I know. It's one of the words. Like the thing is, on the channel you can ban certain words, and scammers usually use the same words, so you can ban those. But cool. Let's get it going. I have a new target box on the chart, which is the blue box that you see over here between 37.2 and 37.4K. Put this box on my chart after the 1 p.m. video when I was looking for some support to the downside, where we did have a daily, which is the close of yesterday over here at 37.241. But we have an area of confluence where we also have the golden pocket taken from the low to the high. The daily, we have the range value area low of a pull, I don't know, not a complete range, like some like you know, like if you just like a value area low of the pull that you do from the middle of the range, basically, right, to where price is now. But if you do a full volume profile range, or a range volume profile, geez, I have to look for my words here. Then you have the point of control also in this area. So it's also a volume supported area as well as a time frame horizontal and Fibonacci. So it's definitely an area of interest. And if we're still looking for a bounce to the upside, then personally I'm looking for this area over here to observe the reaction, right? I rarely ever put limits. I always like to observe the reaction and wait and see what price then does. Now at the moment over here we do have a little bit of support. It's the low of a 1 hour gap. So if you go to the 1 hour time frame, there's a bit of a gap here. Let me actually show you where you have this going on, right? So a little bit of support after price filled the gap, but I mean preferably price moves down a little bit further. And the white box that you saw on my chart at the very, very beginning was this order block here. So I had this order block on my chart as well, and on the 15-minute you can see the candles are closing below. But yeah, the order block, it's not like necessarily a strong level, was just something I kept an eye on. But yeah, down here, definitely interesting. But in general, what we were looking for after the high over here got wicked is a move to the downside and then a move back towards the upside. Also from an Elliott Wave perspective. So let's get into the scenarios. And I like to start with the diagonal, ending diagonal, which for me has the highest probability out of the 3 that I showed in the previous video. If you have not yet seen the previous video, I recommend checking that one out, because I shared 3 ending diagonals that people sent to me because they were asking me to review their ending diagonal counts. So I went over these counts, and there is only one that for me kind of remains, which is this one. Now, at the moment, also here, we still expect to move to the upside. Now, the main reason why this one still remains is, even though the proportion of wave 3 with wave 1 is not really what you like to see, as wave 3 is very, very big in this case, right? Also, this being a wave 5 is very long compared to your wave 1 over here. So the proportions are a little bit off, which is the reason, you know, that's also what I mentioned during the video earlier today. But compared to the other 2, it's the best ending diagonal, I suppose. All the waves have to be zigzag structures, right? 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, zigzag, 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 double zigzag, and then you're going to be looking for another 3-wave structure to the upside in wave 5. As this over here, especially after taking the high, is either a 5-wave structure, or it's a zigzag followed by a flat, and then you look for another zigzag to the upside to finish your wave C and 5, or Y and 5 in a double zigzag. But simply you're going to be looking for a move up. Now, if you take the fibs of an ending diagonal and you take a trend-based fib from the low of 1 to the high of 1 to the low of wave 2, you toggle on the contracting targets for wave 3. The most common target area is between the 786 and the 886 for your wave 3, which is this area over here, which is nicely respected, right? So while we're doing this, let me put this in my folder. So that is nicely respected. Now for a wave 2, by the way, let's put all the fibs on so you know what is common and what's not. For a wave 2 in a diagonal, contracting diagonals are by far more common than expanding diagonals. The golden pocket for a wave 2 is a common target as well. Also over here, if this is your wave 2, that is respected. So we do this, make it blue as well for the sake of color coding all the different fibs. Then we have your wave 4 over here, which has to be in already because price took the high of 3, right? So it cannot be part of a wave 4 anymore. Now in a wave 4, it's a little deep. Oh, that's not the right one. I need wave 4 contracting. There we go. It's deeper than the most common targets, like most commonly wave 4 in an ending diagonal, 382 and the 05. Little less common is the golden pocket. It's still okay, just a little less common, but that is fine, right? Basically ended just above the 618, but that's okay. So let's keep the 618 on the chart here. Toggle the others off, make this one blue as well. And then finally, you're looking for your wave 5. Take a trend-based fib from the low of 2 to the high of your 3 to the low of 4. And then get the template out for wave 5 over here, contracting. And then this is your area of interest, where, oops, over here we can remove the 05 and not yet turn it blue. This is your target area that you'll be looking for. And your invalidation would be hitting the 1-to-1, which is sitting at 39.6K. Right, so this is, in a bit more detail, your ending diagonal structure if you're looking for an ending diagonal, of course. Okay, there we go. So this target area is the 0.618 to the 886, giving you a target between 38.5K and 39.3K, which fully includes the golden target box. We have still not hit the target box. We have been talking about this golden target box for so long And oh boy, is it getting close, but no cigar, right? It's still not touching it. So probabilities in general are still higher to move to the upside, not because we have a golden target box there. It's one of the reasons why, but also from an Elliott Wave perspective, right? Like with the different scenarios, if we look at this range, yes, we were expecting a move to the downside. Go to the previous video. You hear me talking about looking for a B and a C in this ending diagonal structure, because it has to be a 3-wave structure, not a 5-wave move. So even if you're looking for a 5, you want to see an A, B, C to the upside where you're going to hit gold, right? In the more bullish scenario, we were also expecting a move to the downside, and then a 1, 2, 1, 2 and continuation, right? Where potentially your second wave 5, or actually second wave 1 is in 2, and you're going to be looking for a move up. Now, what I don't really like about this scenario is a double 1, 2 and a 5. Now, if you get a double 1, 2 of this size, also look how big this is. If this is a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, and you get a big 3 to the upside next, look at the size of the double 1, 2. Now, let me take a trend-based fib just to compare time from the start of the 1 to the end of your second one. And then I'm going to put it on the beginning of the impulse, and then I'm going to put it on the low. There we go. So what I'm now doing is I'm comparing the 1, 2, 1, 2 we have at the high with the double 1, 2 we have over here. And you can see it's definitely a lot shorter still. This was your potential 1, 2, 1, 2, bigger 3 to the upside. So it is a lot shorter, right? Now that's something. The problem is, or the problem that starts to exist, is that commonly a wave 5 and a wave 1 tend to be quite similar in price and time if wave 3 is extended. If this is going to be your massive wave 5 and this is your wave 1, you can see the wave 1 is a lot shorter than what your wave 5 is going to be. It's not impossible, it's just probabilities wise a little bit meh, right? It does not really work nicely. So this most bullish scenario is, from an Elliott Wave point of view, is becoming a bit more difficult, because if this is your 1, 2, 1, 2, you expect an explosive 3 to the upside, right? And then eventually a 4 and a 5, but your wave 5 is going to be very big on the higher time frame, as you're going to be looking, of course, for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5, ending 5, then move down. Now on the medium time frame, yes, the target, maximum target all the way up here, 0.618, is sitting at 43.7k. So there's a lot of room to the upside. But yeah, in the bullish scenario, double 1, 2, it basically also means that if this is another 1, 2, and you're going to be looking for a wave 3, you're going to absolutely crush the resistance here. And this is big resistance. So unless you go into a third 1, 2, right? But 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then lift off, you know, then you expect an even bigger push to the upside. So it really depends on the reaction we get here. For me, this is important because in the ending diagonal scenario, the golden box is a very, very important resistance area. And the maximum target is the blue box over here, right? 39.6. In a bullish scenario, I don't expect price to just kick ass and just go into like to the upside in a straight line, as it never really does, of course. But another 1, 2, and we're talking about a wave 5. I don't really like that. I do like nested 1, 2s, like a double or triple 1, 2 to start a wave 3 to the upside. Yeah, that's something that I enjoy seeing, like we had at the low over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, continuation up. Bullish CVD divergences between the first 2 and the second 2, that's nice. But now we're talking about a wave 5, and it's a lot more, like, I should say it differently, it's less common to get clear 1, 2, 1, 2s in a wave 5. So that is something to consider. But also in that scenario, we were looking for a move down, and eventually you do look for another move to the upside. And then finally, this scenario is in lowering in probabilities, right? Where also this cannot be your B, and we have to remove these here. 1 second, pum, 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 and this, voila, because you're going to be looking for a WXY. Now this is very complex, and you know there's also like a little bit of a saying in Elliott waves that is like, once things become too complex, they're probably low probabilities. But nonetheless, I like to keep an eye on it. So we have here a flat, flat, and another flat. And that's like three flats in a row. I mean, it does happen. It's not common, right? It does happen. It's not common. The thing is that also for this being a B, you're going to be looking for, again, a three-wave structure, because wave B has to be a three-wave move in a 5, 3, 5, like a zigzag to the upside for B, for a bigger A, three-wave B, three-wave A, and then a 5-wave C to the downside in an expanding flat. Now the target here is for a regular flat, so I can remove this, because at the moment this is either a 5-wave structure or this is a W, X, and you're going to be looking for Y. So with the different scenarios on the medium time frame, the result is quite similar. In most, or actually all the three here, we're looking for up, down, up. And then the move up, and the way we move up is going to decide which scenario is going to be the one that we have to look for, right? We are, of course, losing steam if you look at the general move on Bitcoin here. So let me do the 12-hour chart. I think is a bit better, right? It's typical impulsive behavior. You have a grinding range to the upside in a double 1-2. You get your big wave 3, your impulsive move, right? Volume kicks in, and then you're going to get this. And this is typical for nested 4-5s, like 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, right? It's complex, it's long in time, it's a grinding structure to the upside, while your average volume is slowly moving to the downside as well, right? So it's very typical for multiple 4-5s on top of one another, where eventually, of course, we expect a final 5 to be made between basically 44K and where we are right now, and then we expect it to fall, right? And then we expect a correction. And a correction in that case can have three different scenarios. You have a 1-2, 1-2 continuation. You're going to have a big 1-2 and then continuation, or you're going to have an ABC and then you go to like below 15K, right? Those are the three scenarios. We'll see what happens at the time. So, of course, I did make my cycle macro high time frame video last Sunday. You will find it in the folder, macro analysis on my YouTube channel, the most recent one. But we'll just patiently see what happens more locally, of course. So that is currently locally what I'm looking for. And that is where this target box comes in as support, this one here. If this one gets broken, then I'm looking for a move to the downside, right? But this is important support for the three scenarios shared, where you're going to be looking for then a three-wave structure to the upside or another 1-2 continuation. So this target box sitting between 37.2, 37.4, right? And the daily is a horizontal in that level sitting at 37.241. Whatever happens locally over here, currently the expectation and probabilities are still higher to continue to the upside and at least hit the yellow box. And there's two main areas of interest in the yellow box: the weekly naked point of control at 39K and the point of control, the red line over here on a weekly time frame of this range of 2021. So the highest volume traded in this big range is where we are almost, because we didn't actually yet hit it, annoyingly, right? So we got close. 1, 2, 3, well, three times, like three highs now after one another. But it's typical 4-5, 4-5, 4-5 price action. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for a reaction in this area. I'm not catching knife, YOLOing, FOMOing, right? I want to observe what price does over here. Kind of follow the plan, wait patiently to see what happens, give it a couple of hours or whatnot, right? And then eventually make up my mind and see what's up. Where important targets to the upside, or at least areas of resistance, which is also what Adrian asks, is we have big resistance here, 38.7, point of control on the macro basically. And a weekly naked point of control is always a level that is important. Just like the monthly naked point of control as well. So yeah, these are the areas of interest. The thing also with a point of control of this size is like the weekly naked point of control is just above. Either you're just going to run through it, right? Like, but I mean, you got to react. Like, what's the probabilities of not reacting to this level, right? not high generally. So yeah, it's a golden box because it has some high weight to it, right? It's a big area for price, and if we get through this area, then we have some more resistance, 39.3, 39.7, 43, 45, and then we get to some other golden boxes here. We have 42.9, 43.6, and then finally 45.2 to 46K. So those are also important resistance areas. Now, if price would move to the downside, it's actually quite difficult to come up with a scenario that really fits a move to the downside. Main reason is that in this more bearish scenario, this being an A, B, C doesn't work, because this is at the moment not a 3-wave structure by the looks of it, right? It's very 5-wavy, or it's a 3, you expect a 3 and a 3. So because price took the high. So this is not an impulse to the downside over here from the first high you made. And if this is a 5-wave structure, you know, you expect another 5-wave structure at the moment. So yeah, we got to be patient. This being an ABC is also not something I'm looking at the moment. Let's actually see if we even hit the 0.618. We did. Well, that would be quite a mindfuck, but I don't know what the ideal scenario would be. If this is an ABC, the 0.618 is a rare target for C. It is like most common target is here. Rare target, or not rare, like just a little less common is the 1.618, but rare, 0.618, very rare. But yeah, taking these lows, then I have to go, you know, and have a closer look at this range. We can do that live quickly if this is a triangle over here. That's the thing. If this is a 4, this can be a 5. But then if you go for another 4 of a higher degree, it needs to be longer or at least a little similar to this 4, which this is absolutely not. So the fact that the price now also took this high here also increases probabilities to still look for more upside. So whatever, you know, even if price moves down, but I'm looking for support here at the blue target box, but generally the probabilities remain the same, which is looking for more upside to come still, based on Elliott waves. So yeah, that is basically it. Let me quickly look at the chat here, right, and see what you guys are up to here. Paulo Lobo, what's up? How are you doing? By the way, let's quickly look at CVD divergences. Sorry, we actually forgot to have a look at this. We had some bearish CVD here at the high, but that already played out, so that is not too interesting, of course. Locally, though, I mean, already played out, so yeah, I'm still keeping my eye on the blue target box below price. Bearish CVD on the 5 already played out as well here. Lower high, higher high on blue did not yet play out, as we then want to see these lows taken, but this is very low time frame. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye on the blue box over here with the scenarios I just mentioned, where locally either that's your ABC or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is your high of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's something for the updates tomorrow. So at the moment, all of this looks more corrective, no? Support, that's important for the Elliott wave scenarios. Daryl Anderson, how are you doing? Welcome. Yes, spoke about the resistance just now because I read your comment when I was doing it. QZ World, how are you doing? Maybe too strong to be overpassed currently. It's definitely an important area. So of course we can only identify an area of resistance or an area of support, but then it's all about looking at the reaction, because And that's I suppose everyone has their plan, but the reason I 99 out of 100 trades market order is because I want to see the reaction, because it's very strong resistance, yes, but what if price just does this, retests as support and then continues, right? So I prefer to keep my eyes open, look at the areas of interest, see if there's a rejection, and then based on what we see and how price evolves, I might be interested in a short position. But I'm definitely still looking for this area to be hit, right? We got so close, but still actually did not touch it. We're literally grinding towards it. Ersin Yilmaz, your primary count is diagonal 5 or not? The primary count is another move to the upside, and based on the reaction, so that's the nice thing as well about Elliott waves, right? Currently the probabilities are higher to move to the upside, with all these scenarios basically resulting in the same situation. When I made the 1 p.m. video when price was over here, I mentioned probabilities are higher in a diagonal to look for a 3-wave structure. In a bullish scenario, 1 2 1 2 continuation to the upside, so you were also looking for a retracement and a bounce. And in the bearish scenario here, for a wave B, you want to see a 3-wave structure, but this is a 5-waver, or you're going to be looking for a WXY, which results in the same type of movement in price. So we were expecting a move to the downside. We got to move to the downside, waiting for proof of support, because if we don't get proof of support, then, you know, whatever. Price can continue, but at the moment, probabilities are higher to at least find some support still and move up once again. And based on that move to the upside, if we get it, first we want proof of support, right? Have a plan, have a strategy, have entry requirements, don't YOLO, FOMO, catch knives, all that stuff. Once price potentially moves to the upside, because we never know what happens, it's all probabilities, then we get more clarity about which scenario has the highest probability at the moment. Currently, probabilities are higher to still move to the upside and take the highs again, like for the, I don't know how many times. One, like the third time basically. But then the question becomes, how are we going to do it? What's the volume going to be? How steep is the move, right? So currently the diagonal, if we would compare the different scenarios, I suppose, diagonal versus bullish versus the bearish. Highest probability. I think the diagonal would match best with putting a high in at the golden target box, of course, which is important resistance. Because with the bullish scenario, you want continuation and you go into the 40s, which is, I mean, no, it's not possible with the diagonal. The problem with the diagonal, though, is, so besides the proportion of wave 3 being off with wave 1, you want to see volume move to the downside, and the volume we have so far in the range is it's not like a clean averaging price moving to the downside type of ending diagonal. So yeah, it's not like, that's also, I think, in the probabilities. Yeah, look, probabilities, what was this, 1 p.m. or the 7 a.m. video was to the upside. The move here 9 a.m. yeah, so generally still looking for a move up. But I specifically don't mention the scenario because in the end it's about that move that we then get to the upside that will give us the probabilities of the scenario we have to look for at that moment in time. Hi, how can I go up to $10? By increasing your personal value, I suppose. If you want to go from no value, I don't know what you mean, Diego. How can I go up to 10? My pleasure, Adrian. Spot Docambio. How are you doing, Bruna? How are you doing? Good afternoon indeed. Good afternoon. Good to have you here again. Let me actually put you guys on, and why they, guys and girls, men and women on my second screen while we are continuing to observe. So the probabilities are at the moment quite clear, and we just have to wait for what price wants to do, right? Is it going to turn around here and move up? That's fine. If it goes down, we have some proper support, no? As well. Locally, divergences. It's so low time frame. I do like to keep an eye on like 3-minute stuff, 3-minute divergences. We don't have bullish CVD. Quick check here. No, we don't have bullish CVD divergences. We do have some bearish CVD divergences, lower high on price, higher high on yellow. So yeah, we'll see. Of course, invalidated if price does move to the upside. So yeah, bullish CVD on the 15. Not on yellow. I don't see bullish CVD divergences on yellow though. I mean, of course, if you talk about this range, then yes, this is a higher low in price and it is a lower low on the CVD with this range. So you're talking about Doctor. Probably this is what you mean, right? You have the range here and a higher low on price. So that is a bullish CVD divergence here. Yes. The thing, like one thing to keep in mind is that this structure already had played out bullish CVD divergences with this low as well. So this is now the second time it comes down. A little bit lower probabilities of it playing out, but nonetheless, there is some bullish CVD between the low here and the higher low created. But I would prefer to see a good bullish CVD locally, preferably also 15-minute really. Like I prefer to look local over here now. And not take any of the previous ranges. This one already played out as price took the high. So Andreas Zahn. So many altcoins have to go to wave 5, so I think Bitcoin is also going up 40k. Yeah, 40k is in general, right? The area of interest for Bitcoin is like 38.5 to 44k, which is a big area of interest. But based on the sub-degree waves, right? Based on the waves that are going to form, we can pinpoint the eventual wave 5 target area, right, based on the local price section. But we're not there yet, right? We're still ranging below the target box here. And yeah, probabilities are still higher to move up. Of course, everything goes in waves, right? Moving up does not mean moving up immediately, right? Everything goes in waves and goes up and down, but medium time frame, probabilities are higher to move up. I agree. The problem with the diagonal for me is the third wave looks like a 3-3-5 flat more than a zigzag. Yes, that's something I explained in the video this afternoon as well. You're absolutely correct. So it's nice that you see it, because in the video this afternoon I received 3 ending diagonals from people, and I was like, let me kind of like review them while you know in a video. So I put them on my chart. But out of the 3 that I received, this one looks best. But the problem is the proportion of 1 and 3. So wave 1 is very short, but wave 3 is massive. It's 6.5 times longer than wave 1. And preferably in a diagonal, your first wave is the longest, right? Preferably in a diagonal, you're going to get this. You have you're going to have like this, right? And then you have your wave 1, your 2, your 3, your 4, your 5 down. So time and price wise, preferably wave 3 is a bit shorter in time and price than 1, 5 shorter in time and price than 3. Now, based on the new rules of diagonals by Elliott Wave International, we also know now that this wave 3 can be longer than your wave 1, and wave 5 is still allowed to be shorter than wave 3, and you still call it a contracting diagonal. So rules have changed. I actually recently explained all the rules in a live stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that snippet out of the live stream and upload it as a separate video so that people know the info about the new diagonals. But yeah, this is of course preferred. Now the thing is that in a diagonal, all the waves, ending diagonal, all the waves have to be zigzag family structure. So simple, double, or triple zigzags. Now, if wave 1 is a simple zigzag, but wave 3 is a double zigzag, or maybe even a triple zigzag, it's only natural that wave 3 is very long. Over here, however, we're not really looking for a double zigzag. Also, this move to the upside is very difficult to count as a nice 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very, very messy if this is an impulse, right? So I would agree. And that's something I have in a bearish scenario where this is indeed an A, B, C flat, and then a 3, 3, 5. But, you know, we got to keep our mindset open. And that is why out of the diagonals, this is the best one. And this is the one where you expect a rejection and then a move to the downside. But in general, the different scenarios all point to like the same direction. The same type, the same waves, basically, of market structure. But I would agree with you. So it's also a very, very deep wave B. It went to the 0.9 perfectly, by the way, taken from the low to the high here. So yeah, counting this as a 5, it's very, very messy. Very, very messy price action, this move here. And then you have a WXY to the downside. And then this is highest probability of 5-wave structure as well. So yeah, I would agree. I also see locally, I posted in Discord if I'm not wrong. Locally, you do have bullish CVD divergences with this order block on the 3 minutes. So not with the low here, but you do have it with the, like, I mean, order block. I mean, yeah, I mean, this one is a little 3-minute order block. So you do have bullish CVD divergences with this one here, which was the last candle before this local push up, which is acting as support clearly. So that is actually quite nice, no? You have this order block here, right? And then the doctor correctly, you have bullish CVD here. And it plays out if price takes this high. That's going to be your target for the bullish CVD divergence. So from this little order block here, higher lows, but you have a clear lower low on the yellow line here, on yellow that is. At the same time, you do want then to have the bearish one invalidated. No, because you also have here lower high on price, but look at yellow, higher high, right? So you want to invalidate the bearish CVD by going above this high here. That would be important. Also blue shows a little bearish CVD. So you want to take this high over here, which, I mean, let's take the volume. I mean, we are moving to the upside, but you want to take this high, right, to invalidate the bearish CVD. Let me check Discord as well. Let me have a look. Did you tag me, doctor, in any of the channels? Let me have a look. The doc. I would. So I recommend not using the 15-minute here, because the 15. It's you wanna see the shape of how price moves. So preferably go to a 3-minute instead of a 15. But the result is the same, yes. But I would recommend using a lower time frame because of the range. It's such a short range, you can't really read the CVD like accurately on a 15-minute. Preferably go to a 3-minute, which is like the most time. The time frames I use the most is the 15 and the 3-minute. But the 15 is more like not for like for this stuff. I use the 3-min because I can see the structures. And that is what you like. So the 15 for me would be too high to observe CVD compared to the 3-minute time frame, which is what I would use in this range here. But you are correct. I mean, the result is the same. Not to forget, you want to take this high because of the bearish CVD we have locally with this one here. So you got both bullish and bearish. Now the bullish one came first. which is important because generally it has a higher probability of playing out, the first CVD that is visible. But it's such small time frame, and like I mean, can this be the low? Sure, but we're also just above the blue box here, which is of course interesting support. We do have bearish CVDs countering the bullish one. So generally, for me, in ranges like this, I'm not really too keen on like reading too much into CVD. Besides, by the way, now that I remember, you had bearish CVD here at the high. Now that already played out, of course. You now have bearish CVD here, lower high, higher high. Yes, you also got bullish CVD, of course, with the low. But it's still like you got both bearish and bullish CVDs in this very small range, which gives it like it's a bit of a mix, right? So unless you have a very clear plan, strategy, scalping plan, you know, including CVD, for example, it's worth doing something. Yeah. We had bearish CVD with this order block, but we now moved above this this order block over here, which is on the 5-minute. This candle, yeah, got taken. So yeah, the bullish CVD divergences here appeared first. This one already played out. The bearish ones here played out. Price moving down. Bullish CVD appearing first. Generally higher probabilities to play out. Now you got some bearish ones here. That's a second time, right? That it appeared secondly, I suppose. So lower probabilities of playing out, but you then want to take that high to invalidate the bearish CVD. So yeah, agreed. What's up, Dasa Gaming, man? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yes, so you're absolutely correct, Dr. Mick. You're very right. So a good reading on CVD, but we got a mixed CVD scenario here locally at the moment, and we did bounce on a bit of support that we have here, so maybe that's enough to move back to the upside. But yeah, we got even more support down here, but it could be the same as what we had down here, right? Price bouncing, it just missed out on hitting the 618 Fibonacci, and it moved to the upside. And we had on the 15-minute, we had bullish CVD, bullish CVD, bullish CVD, and then here locally we had more bullish CVD going on here as well as price was moving to the upside, right? That's what you like to see, right? And that was on the 15-minute, which was very, very nice indeed. Bitcoin is going down at 36K. Maybe, maybe not. I would ask, what is your Elliott Wave count? I'd be interested to see it. You know, always ready to be inspired. Now, I won't be surprised if it does at a given moment. Yes, to correct. But at the moment where we are, right, this support box is max 37.2K. We do have a little bit of course, volume down. Oh, down here. What's that? Point of control 36.9, value area high 37.1. But generally, the probabilities, yeah, are higher to move up 36K or not. You know, I'm not really looking at 36K at the moment. But HCR2A, by the way, welcome first of all, also. And if you have an Elliott Wave count yourself, make sure to put it in Discord, so I can have a look at it. You know, Discord is very active. There's always a lot happening here. Perse also posts a lot of stuff. Maybe he's even live here in the chat. I don't know. He's also counting in a potential 1-2-1-2, so a double 1-2 scenario is what he is looking for over here locally. He does a lot of counts as well. John in Discord also does lots of counts. All the other channels, there's a lot going on generally, so active bunch of people. So let's put you in a corner there. Okay, so price now about to take this high, right? Important as well for the CVD divergences that we have very, very locally, no? Well, also, by the way, now that I think of it, this is something I found, like during a Discord chatting stream that I did this afternoon, we have the zigzag targets being very nicely respected for potential ABC here to the downside. This is your most common target area for a wave C. And well, then you of course would like to see what perse has in Discord. You want to see a price moving back up, of course, if this is a zigzag. Now for an impulse, the invalidation would taking this high, because in an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't want overlap between 1 and 4. And if you do get overlap, then you have to think about diagonals, but your wave 3 is longer than your wave 1, so then you have to think about expanding diagonals, but an expanding diagonal is very rare, and therefore it's never preferred. Nahum, welcome again, Nahum. Good to see you for the second time. Nahum, get at you. In the 1 hour, there is bullish. Yeah, so I mean, the more you zoom out, the more bullish CVD you will find. Actually, on the 1 hour, by the way, if you look here, there is no bullish CVD, right? With CVD, you are not allowed to look at all of the CVD divergences here. Yes, we're making higher lows and lower lows on yellow and blue, but you can't use this. And the reason is that all of these divergences, everything you now see on my chart here, wait, tada, all of the bullish CVD you see here already played out. So it's neutralized, right? Why? Because price took this high, and that is the target for your bullish CVD. So, yeah. So also this bullish CVD we had here, higher low in price, lower low in blue, played out the moment price took this high, which happened over here. So that is neutralized. The bullish CVD we had here, higher low in price, lower low in yellow and blue, played out the moment these highs got taken. So you can't use them anymore. They're neutralized. So over here, higher low in price, lower low on yellow and on blue, bullish CVD, they already played out because the high got taken. So you can't use any CVD anymore which already resulted in the high or the low being taken. So the only area of divergence you can currently look at is this over here. And you know, even more, I suppose, more in detail is over here at the lows, you already had bullish CVD divergences over here, right? On blue, and then eventually yellow as well as price moved up. So preferably, I'm just looking for local stuff. And that's also where CVD is best. CVD is best used locally on the lower time frames, below the 1 hour. So 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, maybe the 30 minute as well, right? Occasionally, someone might go to the 1 hour, but you have to know, if you go up in time frames, you have to know how to use it. Because the problem is, the higher the time frame you go, the more ridiculous it looks. Look at the 4 hour. You see what I mean? You can't use this, right? Also, look at the daily. By the way, it's even funnier from the all-time high. Oh, no more data. I mean, it's look from, where is this? 26th of December. You know what I mean? We can't use this. Besides, many of this played out, right? If you would use it, it already played out all the time. So the best user case for CVD is always the lower time frames. Local price action. That's always what I keep my eye on. When I look at CVD, I'm always looking at either the 3, 5, or 15 minute. My two time frames that I prefer are the 15 and the 3 minute. So the 3 minute for like quick observation of reaction of price at a certain level, and a 15-minute for like a general outlook of price. So those are the two I enjoy using the most. Santos Saints, hoe gaat het kerel? Goedenavond. Blaster 33. Is 33 because of Max Verstappen? I mean, he has one now on the corner. Anyway, do you ever look at the CME chart without weekends? It looks a bit different. No, because weekends are important for Elliott Waves. So, you know, Elliott Waves are about market psychology. It's about buying and selling, which include the weekends as well. So the weekend ranges are important because you can have wave Bs, wave X, wave 4, right, if they turn into a range. And these are very, very important for the general context of price. So one of the best examples recently was with that messy price action. Let me go to the 15. So this was the weekend here. This was weekend price action. Let me actually put a vertical line. So this was Friday 10. That's when New York closed. And then Monday 1. This is where my day started. Weekend price action is very, very important in Elliott Waves still. Counting all of this. It's about psychology. That's what Elliott Waves really is, right? Reading the chart, which is basically reading buying and selling, as it's all psychology. And because psychology, like if you have a big enough group of people, right, that same group, even though the humans inside the group might change over time, the general psychology and habits are the same. And that is why Elliott Waves work. Over the decades, it has been used. Even though people and new generations are coming, the way people interact with the market and the psychology behind clicking the buy and the sell button are the same. Yes, we go from paper trading, not necessarily like demo trading, but back in the day where you know you had the trading floors and everything, you know, you didn't have the computer, to now having a computer, technical analysis. So yes, you have other tools and other things, but the psychology remains the same, and that's how Elliott Waves work. And in the weekend, of course, you also have people trading, buying, selling, absorbing, not absorbing. And what we saw over here was, first of all, bullish CVD. So we had over here, by the way, bullish CVD here, bullish CVD here, bullish CVD here. And from an Elliott Wave perspective, the weekend ranges, if you get a weekend range, are very important for the context of price, zigzags, B, X, 4. So I actually never really look at the CME chart, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. Maybe, you know, I don't like to count CME per se, but I do know about CME gaps, but I don't use it in my analysis. I don't use CME in my way of trading, as it doesn't really work for me, or it doesn't fit me, my personality as a trader. You know, I can probably count a CME chart as well, but you'll get the same result. So yeah, but also like media and, you know, in the day newspapers or mouth to mouth, like it's you know, it all ends in the waves that form on the chart. And sometimes people say waves are nowadays more complex than in the past, but I generally think it's nothing, you know, it's Elliott Waves. It's the beautiful, the beauty of Elliott Waves, right? Ever-changing environment, always trying to count, always puzzling, where waves in the past were as difficult as waves nowadays. I know that Prechter had one high time frame expanding triangle in the past. Now that's extremely rare, but that's like decades ago, right? So yeah, it continuously evolves, like you say, Adrian. And of course, price, it doesn't copy, but the beauty of Elliott Waves is the psychology behind it, which is what attracted me to Elliott Waves back in the day as a medical student when I was studying medicine in Amsterdam. So it's the psychology of humans that always interested me, which I find in Elliott Waves. And that's why I got triggered by Elliott Waves. It's twofold. It's the psychology, behind Elliott waves. And secondly, it is being able to read the chart. And I think that is one of the that's what makes Elliott waves unique. You might also want to, like, for example, harmonics. Some people might want to use harmonics or Wyckoff as well. But with Elliott waves, I don't use harmonics or Wyckoff. But it gives me the opportunity to read the chart. So whenever I see a new chart, I immediately start counting. My eyes, I cannot not count anymore, right? It's a habit. It's so ingrained in my brain to count waves that the moment I see a new chart, I immediately start looking for the waves, and I look at the retracements all by eye, and I already make up a scenario before putting the count on the chart, which is also what I do with the content, of course. So before making a video, I'm quickly looking at the chart. I look if anything changes, and you're immediately thinking, you know, you're looking for the patterns, the retracements. You look at the chart, and then new video, right? So yeah, the beauty is you're able to read price action based on probabilities, because we don't know if it goes up or down. But you can like, the moment you see the chart, my brain automatically goes, you know, it just goes. Like, I immediately start counting. I cannot not count a chart anymore. It's like, I know that back in the day, and I remember it very, very well, before I got into Elliott waves, I look at this as just that being it, right? I didn't look at the structures the way I do now, if you know what I mean. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but you don't it's just, oh, price is here. And you know, if you have a plan, of course, and a strategy, it's good. In my trading plan, by the way, I can trade my plan without knowing where price is in Elliott waves, right? It doesn't matter. I can open any chart anytime. I can look for my confluences and I can trade it. But with Elliott waves, you get so much more context, so much more probabilities and directional bias of up or down. Yeah, I cannot not count anymore, and it's just like reading a book. So yeah, for the ones that are here, by the way, and you are new to Elliott waves, it's definitely worth it. It is also worth it. It is very difficult, right? No one's gonna deny that, I suppose. Where Elliott waves, it's a lot of information. It's difficult to get the hang of it. I had moments where I quit Elliott waves for 2 months, and then I got back into it, and you know, like typical stuff. But yeah, it's worth it. I can't deny, you know. But it's a fun black hole to get sucked into, because it's such a dynamic way of analyzing the chart. Mark Dutch, goedenavond Elliott Wave Wizard and other legends. Goedenavond Mark, hoe gaat het? How are you doing? Good to have you here. Statistics, interpretations. Yeah, so I mean, it's all about and that's Elliott Wave as well. It's about interpretation, but of course, the more experienced you become, the better your Elliott Wave scenarios are going to be. The better it becomes, or the more effective trading it becomes, right? The more profit you will have eventually if you trade Elliott waves, because many people can count a certain section of the chart in a completely different way. But that is where the experience and especially the rules matter. Where at the beginning you don't know all the rules. One of the most common rules that go wrong is triangles and WXYs. WXYs in general, which are difficult to understand. Many people label ABCs, right? Corrective structures. They are looking for a flat in a 335, but they don't know that wave B has to go to the 0.9 Fibonacci of wave A for it to get a 5-wave C, else it's just not a valid flat. So it's small little things that come with experience, and then the counts improve and improve and improve in probabilities. Peggy 18. Yeah. Thanks for all the information. Pleasure, Andreas. Dasa Gaming, highly appreciate your effort, bro. I learned a lot of things from you. Thank you. That's nice to hear. Thanks, Dasa. I always enjoy if people also learn from the content. Like making videos is one. Of course, I enjoy updating. Like I try to provide the best quality updates I can, and you know, it's literally the counts I show is the counts I look at. It's that, right? But in the videos, of course, the goal is also to teach at the same time, show how I got the like trend-based fib extension pull, or what is the target of a wave 3 in a diagonal, right? Or a wave 5, what is common, what is less common, what is rare, and hopefully by constantly talking about this in the videos, people, Dasa, yourself, and others, increase their Elliott Wave knowledge, become better in counting the charts themselves, which hopefully leads to more profit for themselves, as they can then analyze the chart better. Yeah. You studied at the VUMC, AMC. I studied at the AMC. I studied same in the later. For me, it was AMC. Before they changed the name, because now they of course, you know, they changed the name, but AMC was for me. I studied same in the later. I studied medicine. I quit in 2018 for a good reason, by the way, because of my own business, which I wanted to take a. Oh man, now I have to explain why I quit my medical study. First of all, everyone, if you're a student, finish your studies unless you got an opportunity with a contract in front of you, or partners asking for you, or a television gig, or a pro esports player for Team Liquid, whatever it is, with a great salary. Look, if you get the opportunity, take the opportunity. You can always go back to school, no? After high school. Now, in my case, I was studying medicine, but I'm involved in the gaming and esports industry for 17 years now. And in 2018, that was 11 years. I was a television host on ESPN, starting to become a speaker, started to work with some companies if I could. But that was the problem. I couldn't really work with companies that approached me to work with me because I was a medical student from 7 till 7 like AM, PM. And then in the weekend when I got time, companies are closed. So it didn't work out. So, you know, I had to make a choice where I already skipped every Tuesday of university to present on ESPN on television, right? Becoming a speaker, giving workshops to parents with gaming children, which now became a business as well, with online stuff. So I had already things coming in. I already had companies willing to work with me, and I was like, okay. It took me 3 months to 4 months to make the decision to go into a gap year, like a sabbatical, I suppose, of 1 year of my medical study, where I said, before I go into there, I knew the study bosses, whatever that's called in English, very well, because I was already in touch with them before I even joined the medical study, because I was the first esports player, professional gamer in the Netherlands with a top sport status, like a status that is similar to the traditional professional athletes in the Netherlands, where you get free from university and that sort of stuff. So I was the first esports player to receive that. And because of that, I got it from university. So I already knew the people at university, you know, because we have been talking for 6 months before I finally got that status. And then I was like, yo, I want to have a gap year. Like I got opportunities. I just want to make the most of it. If it doesn't work out, I do want the opportunity to come back where I was. So if it didn't work out for a year, trying to work for myself and build something, I don't have an entrepreneurial family, right? I didn't know. I just started. I didn't even know how to make an invoice. And they gave me the opportunity to take a year off, and if it didn't work out or whatever, I would come back next year and exactly start where I left off, which was, funny enough, the surgery internship. Now, my favorite thing in medicine, the whole of medicine, is surgeries. Man, I love surgeries. Open heart is the best. It's so impactful, an open heart surgery. You can Google for that stuff yourself, but man, it's so impressive to work on a heart of someone, and hopefully make them better, of course, which luckily, as far as myself concerns, all these surgeries that I was part of and I was in the room of, luckily for the patient and the professor and everything went well, and for my sake. So yeah, and that's exactly the internship where I quit. It's funny how things go sometimes. It's my favorite topic, but yeah, I had other opportunities, and the choice I made back in 2018 is the best choice I have ever made. Easy. I wouldn't change it. Cool. Story time. Is the correction overdue? Well, we have been ranging for a long time. We are generally still looking for price to move to higher prices before a bigger correction. So that's the probabilities as well. Probabilities remain higher to still look for higher prices generally. And we, of course, always keep an eye on local price action 3 times a day with the daily updates. So yeah, the correction, the sideways correction is very long, and it does, probabilities increase to find support and move to the upside instead of coming down once more. Funny. Bearish divergence on the daily temperature. Yeah, man, in my speaking, in the words I use, I'm already using words, or already like for a bit of a longer time because of YouTube. I tend to use the word probability more, up and down more, like it's especially the word probabilities, where in my daily life I tend to use that word more often than I used to. Awesome. I don't know all the rules, but I can identify a trend and see if it's worth trading. Yes, and that's most important. That's where it starts, right? Identifying the trend from an Elliott Wave perspective and the corrections. Those weather guys could use a little help. Yeah, there's a bearish divergence between the clouds and the rain, and we expect rain to come soon. And blah, blah, blah. How old are you? 31. Team Liquid. Yeah, I know Team Liquid very well as the boss. He's Dutch. Right, so well, I can actually show you as well. So Team Liquid, of course, is originally in the past a Dutch organization. So, and they have their headquarters here in the Netherlands as well. And this is Victor. Wait, right? Victor, Team Liquid. No. That's his WhatsApp profile picture. We know each other well, but that's also the thing is, once you're in the industry for so long, which for me now is 17 years, I will enter my 18th year in the gaming and esports industry next year. You grow up with the people that now, like that can, like, I also have my business in the industry, but yeah, your network grows as the industry grows. So you know a lot of people, and it's easy to go around. I'm also a board member of the Global Esports Federation, which 150 member federations is what we have. So network, poof, we talk with the Olympics. One of our board members works at Ferrari Formula One. I mean, yeah, it's funny how small the world can be. We all get chart damage in our brains as traders. I can't look at any kind of chart without automatically starting analyzing it. Yeah, I guess it's the benefit and the weakness, I suppose, right? Like it's difficult to have a completely neutral view. The moment you see a chart, you're immediately like ta-ta-ta-ta. Yeah. I'm working at a Dutch agency. Besides traditional sports, we are also involved in esports and would be looking for potential partnerships, especially in the Netherlands. We are already in talks with organizations based in Amsterdam who are willing to cooperate. Doctor, by any chance? Are you talking about an organization in Purmerend? Someone. Thanks for explaining, Quinn. Appreciate it. I finished in 2019. Maybe have seen each other. If you finished in 2019, so I would have finished my studies. I started my medical study in September 2017. So I would finish 2020. I mean, 3 years around, plus om en nabij, zeg maar, 3 jaar. Dus. So like in 2020, I would have finished my medical study, which means that you were 1 year ahead. Or at least partly 1 year. Maybe a couple of like co-groepen, basically. Yeah, but... Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Wait, what? You started September 2020. Oh, you mean with the I'm talking about the masters. So I started... Sorry. Let me reframe this. I started my Master of Medicine in 2017. Which then I would then finish in 2020. Because I got through... I was uitgeloot. I didn't get through the lottery in the Netherlands for medical study. So I did biomedische wetenschappen, biomedical sciences. I finished the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences, and then I did a pre-master of medicine, which is basically like the bachelor in 1 year, kind of, right? I did that in Nijmegen, and then after that I went to Amsterdam, because in Amsterdam I could get the topsport status, basically. I graduated Bachelor Master in 2019. Ah, I see. Well, then, I mean, still, with the Master, we were quite, like, if you finish 2019, yeah, maybe we would have seen or potentially have seen each other, just didn't know shit about one another. We didn't know. And now we're here. But, yeah, different groups, I suppose. Like, of course, there's so many students in the hospital. 2016, cardiothoracic surgeonship in Amsterdam was crazy. Yeah. Oh, man. I left. I walked away when I started. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I once took a date to a open heart surgery in the Netherlands because she was a nurse and I was a doc, or well, doc, trying to be a doc, right? I was a student, but I had my connections in surgery because I've been watching. You know, I've been constantly asking professors and doctors to come with them to the surgery room because I was so interested. So for one of the dates with this girl, I told the doctor, like, hey, you know, she's a nurse and la di la di la. Could I take her to one of the surgeries? And we had a date looking at an open heart surgery. It's probably the craziest date I ever had. We didn't even have a relationship. Yeah, funny times. So, if only the surgeon knew, but he didn't. He just thought, oh, here's like the becoming doc again, and he just brings a nurse in. Yeah, funny stuff. Wait, sports. Where was it? Wait, let me go from top to down. You have all those probabilities. How do you trade them? Well, you always trade the highest probability scenario in Elliott waves. And the moment it hits stop loss, like it hits your stop loss, that's when the alternative scenario becomes the preferred. So basically, always trade the preferred scenario. But that's, of course, up to your own personal account, because on this channel, obviously no financial advice, right? Everyone here knows. But someone continues to trade if you have your count, you always trade your preferred scenario, which is based on probability. And then if it hits the stop loss, that's when you switch around and your alternative becomes your preferred, and you're going to make a new alternative. You always need a preferred and an alternative scenario. You always need two. Open heart, little bit of salt, pepper, thyme, oregano, hot pan, 5 minutes. Yummy. Look, it's seriously one of the most impressive things you'll ever see in a in the OK, in the operation room. Man, I remember every surgery vividly. I in the closet, maybe even behind me. I found it. Oh yeah. Yeah, he knows. He knows. Look what I got here. Ah, there we go. Yep. I got this book from a surgeon. Look. Coronaire chirurgie. Oh yeah, chirurgie. I got this book when I was at. Of course, I got it after the surgery, right? Not during the surgery. Like, hey, here you got the book. But this is a book about one of the heart surgeries, like open heart, like surgeries, right? Where I was attending as well in the surgery room. Where you just learn about the heart and the veins and like what you see on the scans and stuff, right? If you like, let's see if I got some more nice pictures. Oh, this is the heart lung machine. This is the heart lung machine. So if you get a surgery and they have to work on your heart, they usually if you got something bad going on, they have to stop the heart, right? So the heart will stop, but they basically connect your artery and your main vein and your main artery to a system, like how am I going to call this? I don't know the English words, but basically like a system, which is this, right? Lots of cables. I know, but it's called the heart lung machine, and it basically pumps the blood through your body and through your lungs, of course. While working on your heart. So your heart is not functioning, but this machine takes over, which is incredible. There you go. People just joining here. Joining here, they're going to be like, yo, look, he got Elliott Waves in his title. He got Bitcoin in his title and trading psychology. And then they see he got chatting in his title as well. And that is what we're doing now. Oh, okay, there we go. Look. Open heart, it's beautiful, no? So this is, so before you, of course, like I can imagine you don't really know what you're looking at, but in other words, it's the heart. It's fascinating how from the start of the surgery, right? They open up your rib cage very carefully, and with a little it's amazing. I love it. Like that's his hand, by the way. The hand going in the yeah. Ah, well, you get the point. No, you get the point. It's yeah, it's nice. Okay. nice book. People joining here be like, what the fuck am I looking at, man? I came here for Elliott Waves and I'm looking at pictures of open heart surgeries. They have no idea. They'd be like, fuck, I'm at the wrong channel. He's clickbaiting me. For everyone that just joined, make sure to check the beginning of the live stream. That was the analysis part. Sports Entertainment Group. Let me have a quick logo or logo. Sports. SEG. Yeah. I know SEG. I know SEG very, very well. And if you talk with the esports division, you talk with Rowan. Let me quickly. So, because Rowan's, I won't say the surname, but yes, exactly. Because he is the director of esports. And in the past, Rowan used to work for like in the events space in Utrecht, and I still remember he tried to find a job in the industry away from the event space, and he got to SEG. SEG, I always call it SEG. If you wrote SEG, I would have recognized. But yeah, he got there, and he built the esports part from nothing to what it is today with, of course, his team. So do you have any pet? No, I don't have any pet. Not yet, at least. Just a quick one. Yeah, many people have actually talking about this section over here because it looks the same, but it can rhyme, doesn't repeat. you know, it's a different time. What I prefer is looking at what we have locally. This was a, you know, different count, different phase. I would prefer to continue to observe what happens locally. There are similarities in a way, but you know, people use that as a very strong bias for a big wave 3 to new all-time highs while we're still ranging at 37k. So what I would recommend for many people is to not really focus on that piece of price action, but take it step by step locally at the moment. And maybe it will push up, because probabilities at the moment are still higher to continue up, right? So the probabilities are still there to continue up. But will it move up as aggressively as we had in 2020? That is very far-fetched at the moment. What do you think? Bitcoin going up or down? Depends on the time frame you're talking about, but generally probabilities are still higher for a move up. Kinky date, I know, right? Let's watch some blood. Stop eating my lasagna, I know. Gravity Gaming, you're cute. Thank you. You're not bad either, I know, right? 38. Well, we are at 38 basically. Hey guys, I got a webinar that I have to start in 6 minutes. I need to talk to parents about how to cope with gaming children. And it's a group of, I don't know, about like 100 parents or something. So I got to give a webinar, which is on this channel as well, because I gave them the link to a webinar. Of course, not a public one. But in other words, I got to move, right? So in 6 minutes now, I got to start the webinar. So if you just joined, the analysis part is at the beginning of the video with the probabilities and what we're looking for. And then basically at the end of the video, we talk about like medicine studies, and we talk about open heart surgeries and all the fun stuff, right? So anyway, guys, I will, Mark. I will. Have a good time. Have a good evening. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central European time. We got a new update between 7 and 8, as always, right? Give me a little bit of margin, right? It's always 7 a.m. It means between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. That's when you can expect a video, generally. So have a good evening. I got to move. Give a webinar as a keynote speaker, which is something that I love to do. I'm going to catch you on the other side tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central European time. Bye-bye.